I did
preface this
again. Steps, by the way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to unMadeGaming. This wasn't a shit show at all. We're live. We're playing a game that I'm just learning about right this second, called the Aurors, and apparently it's Blades in the Dark. We'll find out. But with us is a few faces you may see here before, and a few you'll see later on today. We'll start with our wonderful GM of this game. Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And tell us about the Aurors.
I'm Johnny. I'm Video Store Cowboy. I am a tabletop streamer with a side of variety. Aurors is this crazy random idea I had after watching Fantastic Beasts on Thursday nights and realizing that I wanted to do something super cool and super simple and as an alternative to what I was originally planning to run. And it's basically a very rules light hack one page of Blades in the Dark, targeted at the wizarding world. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be, you guys are the first to actually give it a try. Joff made a character last night and was super enthusiastic about it. I was so excited about what he did. I actually updated the PDF to include some things that he actually noted. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys break this thing.
Hell yeah.
And I'm looking at you, Mike.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I actually just found a hack on Tales from the Loop that's Harry Potter, so I'm excited for that too.
Please send that to me.
Yeah, well,
oh my god, that sounds delicious.
But speaking of Joff, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And tell us, who are you playing today?
Yeah, my name is Joff, otherwise known as Owlbear. That is bear as in, not as in. I am, I guess, a Twitter personality, question mark.
Perfect.
That's literally all I do is hide on Twitter all day long. Today, I will be playing Marwilliam Sabin, who is a Slytherin aura specializing in the acquisition and disposal of dark magical artifacts.
Sweet. And we know you're role-playing because there's no way that, Joff, you would actually have Slytherin robes because you're not a Slytherin at all.
I got the shirt, I got the robes, and I got my wand.
I feel like
so good to go.
I feel like, if anything, you're Hufflepuff. Like,
hey,
that's not an insult. Jumping in at the last second, saving the day. Rob, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And you're playing a wizard, you've just learned.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. I don't know about breaking the game, but I'll survive it. So my name's Bob. We'll see, I guess. My name's Bob. I just started streaming maybe about 3 months ago. Me and a group of friends who you guys will see later. We stream on Dice and Heroes, and that's pretty much all I got for now. I'm just hoping not to fail too hard. So let's see if this works.
It's a safe place to fail. I do it all the time. And yeah, I'm here also playing a wizard who I'm going to not build right this very second. So yeah, with that, guys, I'll remind you this is a charity stream. We've already crushed our first goal. We're hot on the trail of our second goal. So check that donation section down below for what you can donate for. I'll have to tweak a little bit because it's still custom to Cthulhu. But don't worry about that. Johnny, take us away into the wizarding world of the Aurors.
So a couple quick things about that. For the purposes of the charity stream and donations, crits count as crits. Any of the other things that affect the world are totally there to affect the world. It's basically a rules light version of Blade, so everything should work just as expected. First thing I'm going to ask the two players that are just looking at this stuff now, Mike and Rob, what houses are you guys? What houses are you choosing? This is going to be set up an interesting dynamic. I'm a
Ravenclaw.
You're a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, that's the only good house to be in.
I'm going to be Slytherin, I think. I like to be cunning.
Son of a bitch.
I like to be cunning. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Get woke.
Okay. Shots fired.
Damn. Okay. All right. So a couple quick things about your characters, if you haven't looked already, or your character, the characters that you're building. There's just basically 6 steps. You're going to choose your heritage. You're going to choose your essentially your experience level. There are 3 experience levels, and then you can choose a magical ability and an optional item. Joff has already the things that Joff has already kind of posted. He's taken all basically all of the essentials. And we'll just kind of play this as we go, but the rule resolution are very much similar to Blades in the Dark and Apocalypse World. So we're just going to go ahead and just jump right into the story. And if there's any questions, we'll deal with that as we go along.
Hell yeah.
All right. So set in the modern day. You hear the tones of a saxophone playing in the other room. The room you're in is dark, except for 2 candles that are lit on a table. The 3 of you are standing on one side of the table, and there is a closed case on the other side. 3 wizards and 1 witch stand in front of you, and you're dealing with the witch in this deal. The 3 of you have been sent here by the Ministry of Magic to procure an item that has been moving around on the black market. It has only been described as a photograph with a dark past. That's all that they gave you. Which one of you is actually going to take the lead in this backroom deal that's happening?
Definitely
I
not.
will, sure.
I was about to say, I don't know how much we can metagame here, but I have cunning because I took Slytherin. I don't know if that plays an effect.
Please metagame all you want. This is about telling the best story.
Okay, cool. So if you want to take the lead, you have more experience than me. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute, Rob.
Yeah.
What experience level did you take? Did you take apprentice, experienced, or veteran?
I'm gonna say experienced. I feel like if I go apprentice, I would have a lot more role playing to do, and I'm just focusing on not messing up. So I'm gonna go with experienced.
Okay,
like,
so both of you are experienced then. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start with you, Joff, then.
Okay.
She looks at you and says, "It's 1,000 galleons. It's the item that you asked for. No questions asked."
No questions asked.
what is this woman's name?
Cruella.
Okay.
You're gonna have me start making up names on the spot. I'm gonna start giving you some good ones.
All right. I'm gonna look over at Jothan. Was that the price we agreed on?
It is, and for what's in the case, it's worth it.
Well, it's your call.
1,000, as we agreed upon, and I hand over a nice sack of galleons.
I'm gonna fiddle my wand at my side, and things seem tense right now.
As you're paying attention to the 3 wizards behind Corella, you see that they are also fiddling their wands. One of them looking like his wand is actually in his sleeve, and he's ready to move at a moment's notice.
Then that's the wizard I'm watching most carefully.
As you slide the bag across the table, Corella just slides the case across to you. There's not going to be any trouble if you just take the case and leave.
I'm not leaving until I look in the case.
That wasn't part of the deal.
Then how do I know the contents are in here?
You're going to have to trust me.
Oh. Trust comes at a premium, my friend.
Fine. She slides the bag of galleons back over across, takes the case. I think our business is done. She begins to slide it under her arm and begins to turn as you see the 3 wizards behind really, sort of fiddling with their wands.
No, my friend. This is fine. Give us the case. We'll leave with the case. You leave with the money. No one. There's no harm, no foul.
I'm gonna look over and be like, so light. You need this money just as much as we need this photograph.
She looks at you and she says, "What are you implying?"
I'm implying that you're here for a reason. You need the gold. We just want to take a peek inside. What's the harm about that?
Because what's inside is dangerous. It's And she looks hesitant for a second, and she looks over to the one who's fiddling with his wand in his sleeve. It's cunning. And she
go ahead.
Places the case back down and slowly begins to slide it across as she reaches for the galleons.
If we're not looking inside, and what you say is in fact not in here, then perhaps we should come to a better agreement. Maybe 200 less.
She leans in and she says, fine. Open it at your peril. And the wands come out from all three wizards. And they start waving in front of them, just kind of muttering under their voices, creating a protection charm. As she steps back with the galleons and says, go ahead.
I'm going to look over at Ezekiel and be like, you heard the lady, go ahead.
Is Ezekiel an apprentice? Is that why they're giving you a hard time?
He is experienced, and he just decided to use his name from the last game called Ezekiel. Yeah, he looks over at this display of they're trying to do some magic. He steps up and he pulls his wand from the holster as well. And as he reaches over towards the case, he waves it in front of himself. Like as he's opening it, he waves it in front of himself and mutters "Protego" as he opens the box. As he casts a protection spell on himself as well, or at least a shielding spell in front of him.
As you open the box, it's this ornate wood case. It's not overly ornate. It's not something like you would find a high craft, but it is, of like sort of like a an expensive nature. But it is well made, and it is inlaid with various sort of runes. And as you unlatch it and you open it up slowly, what you find inside is a picture frame with a portrait, and that portrait shows an empty chair in a room, and it is a black and white portrait. But there's nothing else there. And as you do that, she says, "Is he there? Is he looking at you?"
It's a picture of a chair, and he turns it towards them.
And each of them just sort of, they step back farther. Where is he? What's going on? Where is he?
I don't know. That's the question we're asking you.
And at that moment, in burst in 5 black-clad wizards, and all at the same time point their wands at around the room and start yelling "Stupefy."
Okay.
So I'm going to need resistance rolls from each of you. How resistance is going to work is you're basically going to roll your resistance dice pool. And depending upon how you want to resist, whether you want to protect yourself with a spell or do something else, will depend on whether your house affects your roll.
So what is my resistance dice pool? What is this? What are you saying?
The resistance dice pool is going to be your magical dice pool.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
So I have a 2. So I'm rolling 2d6?
Yeah.
/R. 2d6. Boom. 5.
So you do resist.
I am going to attempt to kick the table up in front of me to try to block this spell as I dodge out of the way. Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can totally do that. Why don't you go ahead and roll your physical dice pool instead, which is, I think, basically.
Would that allow me to add my cunning?
Absolutely.
So I believe that is 3 altogether.
Yep. Absolutely, you resist. Or no,
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I failed.
You failed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm stupefied.
Joff, what are you going to do?
I, brandishing my wand, I yell "Protego Totalum," which is the area effect of Protego.
Okay. Also add your cunning to that.
Okay, so that's 3d6
And if you guys didn't notice already, in Discord I posted the spell list.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Oh, I didn't. I was just giving kudos to Joff for knowing that stuff.
All right. So, wand out. Ezekiel just kind of waves it and protects himself and knocks the stupefy spell off to the wall as it just goes flying. What's your character's name? Have you figured that out?
Acer Dell.
Wow.
I got this, guys. Improv.
Best last minute name ever.
Perfect.
I just have one question for you. Is Dell a pureblood family, or is that sort of like a mudblood thing?
No, I'm 100% pureblood. I'm Slytherin. We don't let those dirty half breeds in. Mudbloods.
Does he say that out loud?
What about Snape?
Who?
Or,
Exactly.
or our boss right here who's a half-blood.
Yeah. Okay. So Acer, attempts to make a move and kick the table out from in front of him. But as that happens, the spell hits you. The stupefy spell hits you, and you fall back. For Mar William, tell me, how does Mar William use that protection spell and make the area effect for everybody?
I'm literally trying to step in front of my friends Ezekiel and Asa, and I'm trying to cast a shield across the three of us.
Okay, the stupefy hits Acer, but it doesn't hit him with the full impact, so it only knocks him down and it makes him prone. But otherwise, you're able to move. You're able to kind of get yourself back up. But these wizards, as they're kind of coming in, they stupefy. They attempt to stupefy the three of you, and they take out two of the wizards that are with Cruella. The other one immediately grabs for her and apparates. And as they do, the three of them sort of turn to you and say, "What are you doing in New Orleans?"
Who are they saying this to?
Three of you.
Have you not heard of Mardi Gras?
That little Muggle nomad festival is of no interest to us right now. It's also October.
Nomad Festival? They have witches of ancient age. What do you mean? There's an entire quarter devoted to them. Hidden in plain sight.
The air travel prices are so cheap right now.
Yes. We took Muggle transport.
Listen, all right.
Port keys are cheaper. Again, I'm going to ask you, what are you doing? What are you doing in the French Quarter here in New Orleans?
What are we doing in the French Quarter in New Orleans, Johnny?
You were told. What were you told?
I don't remember.
Were you not paying attention, Mike? Are you not paying attention?
No, I was building a character in the last 30 seconds.
We're here to get this picture, but I don't think I want to tell you.
Yeah, you're here to acquire this item.
Oh, I knew that much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we should tell these guys this though. It doesn't seem prominent.
No.
Okay, so
can I sneak a spell? Is that a thing?
Yeah, what are you going to sneak?
I want to, as we're saying this, I want to wave my wand and say disillusionment, and I want to cast it on the photograph, so it blends into the surroundings.
All right, that's pretty cunning.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. How do I do this?
Roll 2d6 plus one die, so 3d6.
Okay, cool.
Did you roll? There you go. Oh yeah. So describe to me what it looks like when you make this thing disappear. I mean, what is the effect of this disillusionment?
Okay, so first off, does Ezekiel still have the photo?
Yeah, it never left my hand.
Yeah, so now it's literally just looks like his hand. Right, so it's just, I'm assuming that, I don't know how big it is, so I'm saying it's just going to look like his palm and his fingers.
It's a frame that's like an 8x10 kind of a frame, and there's the frame itself has a sort of is a bit ornate, but then there is this there's matted area, and then there's the picture sort of at the center. And so it just sort of vanishes in his hand, and you've done this before or something, and he just, it just kind of vanishes, but he's aware that it's still there.
Yeah.
And the three of them turn, the five of them turn to you. So what are you doing here?
And these guys are clearly black-clad robes, everything else like that. Like, this is clearly the bad guys, correct?
No,
okay.
They haven't identified themselves yet.
Well, how about you tell me who you are first, and then perhaps we can tell you our business, friend.
My name is Smith, or Makuza. Now, please tell me, who are you?
My name is Acer Del Aura.
Wow.
By your accent, I'm going to assume ministry.
He nods.
And he looks to the two of you, Ezekiel and Mar Willem. Aurors as well?
Yes.
Yep.
What are you doing in the States without letting us know?
Sting operation. We have been working on this for months, and you just happen to roll in here all cowboy-like and ruin it?
There's this little thing called magical cooperation, and he swings his wand and attempts to bind the three of you.
Oh.
So please roll magic.
Resistance, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Resistance.
Hey.
Definitely not looking up a spell. Don't worry about that.
Control F.
Already on it.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, tell me about how the magical abilities works in this game. You choose one, but then what does it do?
So unless there is a question of an outcome, unless it's an extreme situation, it just works. So, for example, parcel tongue. If you have parcel tongue, it just works unless there's any question for a reason as to why it wouldn't. And it would have to be an extreme reason, like it would be extreme duress, like you're being attacked by, say, a gigantic serpent, sort of like a what's that thing from the second film? Can't remember right now, but yeah. Exactly.
Okay, cool. Just curious, for no reason at all.
So what's
I rolled
what's your special ability?
Okay, I'm a Metamorphomagus. I can change my appearance at will.
Got him.
Wow. Joff, that's the lowest you can roll.
Very appropriate to have snake eyes.
Oh, wow.
Very much so. All right. So before we resolve what's going on with Mar William, what is Ezekiel doing?
Nothing. He just gets bound up.
Oh, he just gets bound up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the binds just sort of wrap around Ezekiel, but they're they don't really take, and they just kind of fall off of you. And the same happens to Acer. But for Mar William, the binds just kind of grab you and hold you very tight. And the Auror looks at the two of you and says, "I'm going to need you to hand me your wands and let's go. Your friend is a bit more trouble." And he reaches to grab the bonds and starts to pull Mar William along.
I'm going to look at him and say, "We cannot allow that to happen, friend." And
you three are under arrest. You are here under the auspice of being, on a some sort of a stakeout, some sort of a job, but you haven't informed the Makuza.
Yes, and with good reason. We believe that the suspect we're pursuing may have ties to the Makusa.
All right, roll your mental pool.
Okay.
And definitely.
Is there an aid option? Is there an aid option in this? Can I aid him in any way?
Sure. How would you like to aid him?
I'm gonna start just saying names of people that I don't know if I know people in this organization. I'm just gonna start saying names.
Perfect.
Okay, so the top level of the Makuza would definitely be sort of public knowledge, especially like the lead or the minister of magical enforcement kind of stuff. So Ezekiel, please take Acer's cunning additional die.
All right, so 46 it is.
Power of friendship.
Does a 14 do it for you, John?
No, but that's a 5, and that works. So as you begin to say that, he looks at the lead or looks at Acer as he's kind of rambling off names, and he begins to look stunned. And there's some muttering in the back between the other 4 Aurors. Are you serious?
No, I just make up things willy-nilly. What?
It's worth looking into.
Well, then come with us and let's look into it. And they wave their wand again, and Morwilliam is unbound. He's like, let's go.
If we're going to come with you, I'd like to know more about you. Who do you work for? Who do you report to? Perhaps I don't want to give you any names, but perhaps they're in our chain of suspicious people. And if they are, it might be best if you're not seen with us or we're not seen with you.
You named my boss. And he looks at Acer. We're going to go to one higher level.
I'm
You go with them?
I'm about to duck ear these people. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm about to turn these people.
What?
I'm gonna look. I'm metagaming. I want to turn these people into ducks. I don't know. I think this is not working out any way, shape, or form.
William, okay. I leave this to you.
Yeah, you got this. Let me give him a shove on the back.
And I point to. Actually, no, I'm going to use legitimacy to try and glean surface thoughts from these guys.
Okay, so this is what you get, since it's your special ability, and there's not a question of doubt that you're going to actually succeed at this. What you get is that these guys, these Aurors are really concerned. They were sent here on a tip by an informant. That informant is actually in the jazz club, seated at the bar, and you get a clear vision of what this person looks like. That person also had mentioned that the Cruella and her 3 wizards would actually be there, and that the item that they wanted is a relic from the 1920s. That has ties to some dark wizardry that involved Grindelwald. You also know that there has been a lot of turmoil and trouble being stirred up in the city, as there is a group of dark witches and wizards that are trying to sort of unite and take over the city with the ideals of Grindelwald. That's what's sort of like playing through his head as this is going on, and he's not sure that he can trust you, because he's not sure if you are a part of this new sort of this situation where there's this group that has surfaced in the area, and he also does not trust his informant, and you get that very strongly.
We are no zealots of Grindelwald. We are on the same team here. We are simply pursuing a lead. We are looking for an artifact. It is of great importance to the ministry. We are here on business and business alone, with apologies that we did not communicate with the Makusa. We did not know who we could trust, as my friend Asa has made clear, Ezekiel. We are just here on business. You can either aid us, or you can get out of the way.
If I may. And he takes his wand and puts it away, and with the same hand reaches into his cloak and pulls out a small orb that looks like a spinning top and spins it. And he says, go ahead. And he opens up his sneakoscope. That makes a shrill noise if there is deception about.
Dude! Well done. Well done. I have one quick question for you first, though. You did this. You took your wand. You did this.
Yeah, he had like one hand up, and so I'm not pulling any tricks out.
So how are you palming the portrait that has been?
Right, I forgot I'm holding that.
As he goes to drop it, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna try to sneak descendo and slowly drop it to the ground so it doesn't make noise.
I completely forgot about that.
Keep rolling those cunning rolls, man. Yep. That's brilliant, Rob. You're good at this.
I'm not. So what am I rolling? Magic plus cunning,
right? Magic plus cunning.
All right, I like it.
He's not actually good at it.
So I'm gonna let this play out in your favor a little bit, actually. So there is a slight noise as the portrait drops to the floor. Does not crack. The glass does not break. Does not make a large sound. So it's enough of a sound though. But just at the same time, Ezekiel is pulling out his sneakoscope. Was that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, he pulls that out, and they're distracted by that. All right, that's an interesting choice of a move. And you see one of them start to move forward at hearing a noise and begin to search around. And he looks and he sees the box, and the lead one. He points to the lead one, and the lead one says, well, "I believe I'm going to utter this line. What's in the box?"
See for yourself.
Nothing. It was a coup. They were going to give us money for the box. We were going to track the box's location with the thoughts that they were not going to open it to see where it led.
And he, the lead one steps up and waves his wand across and says, oh God, I can't remember the name of the spell. The spell that identifies if there's some sort of magic, curse or charm on it, and he waves it across. I think it's Ravello, and nothing happens. And at that, what happens when the sneakoscope actually detects the falsehood in the room?
It makes a shrill noise.
Oh.
And at that,
you literally just shriek away my character.
It starts to shriek, and immediately the five of them pull their wands back out and go with a disarming spell.
At what now? What are they disarming?
Oh, they're going to disarm the three of you.
Oh, I'm faster. Expelliarmus.
Okay, roll it.
I have my magical item is a dueling wand.
Okay. All right, so describe to me what that actually does for you.
It has a hook on the bottom of it that allows me to quick draw.
Okay. Does it have any magical benefit as well when being disarmed?
Because I don't want to metagame, no.
I'm okay with it just a little bit. I'm kind of curious to see what you would say.
Okay, so it maybe does a reflection spell, if that's the case. I don't know how deep I can go with this. I'm not gonna lie to you, my Harry Potter lore isn't the greatest.
No, that's perfect. There's a charm on it that reflects it.
Okay.
All right. So
my mouth gets me in a lot of trouble sometimes, so I got to be on point.
Apparently. All right, Marwilliam, roll your Expelliarmus.
Okay, so that would be
3d6, I believe.
3d6. Yep. Please, not snake eyes. Hey.
Excellent. So you do, and not only do you disarm the one that's closest to you, that's pointing at you, but his one sort of twirls into the other one, and that just sort of flies. And so two of them are immediately disarmed and are immediately running to scramble. All right, Acer, coming after you.
I'm going to mutter Avius, and I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of tropical birds at one of them.
Okay, so if you're throwing a whole bunch of tropical birds, is that at one of them, or is that the other three that are basically there, giving Ezekiel some time to do something else?
All right, so I'll do it at all three, giving both of them time to react.
Okay. All right, so roll it, and that is definitely going to get you another use of your cunning.
Hey.
Oh Jesus. All right, so as with the rules of Blades in the Dark and the way that dice resolution works, that is a critical success. Take over the scene and tell us what happens next.
I don't want to do that.
Yes, you do.
All right. I'm going to say that we can BAMF, right? I forget the name of it.
Apparition.
Apparition.
Yeah.
Apparate. We can do that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to drop the spell on the image, and I'm going to kick it with my foot up to Ezekiel. And I'm just going to say a location that, like a safe house. I'm assuming we have a safe house at some point or something.
Yeah, you would have established. I mean, moving in foreign territory, you definitely would have had a safe house set up.
I'm just going to say the room and BAMF or operate.
The three of you do that?
Yeah, I'll follow suit.
Yeah.
Okay. Describe to me that. So you did this avio spell, right? You did the flock of birds, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what I was looking for was for you to describe what was going to happen, but I'll just take over the narrative and do that. So as you kind of kick, no, it's okay. It's all good. I'm going to let you tell as much of the story. Yes, cute. I'm going to let you tell as much of the story as you're willing to. So, you point your wand out, do the kick at the same time. All of a sudden, these flock just comes, just kind of and begins to, shoot out from your wand in a sort of like cone fashion, and they begin to kind of swirl and flourish around the five Makuza Aurors, causing a lot of just disarray as the three of you apparate out of that and into this safe house room. It's a hotel in downtown New Orleans. Outside the window is the modern city. It is 2018. You have the picture in hand. The spell has been dispelled off of it to hide it. And as you look at it, there is a slight difference to the actual picture itself. On the chair is a book.
Can we see the book? Like, can we see the title of the book?
You can see the title of the book, and as it says, is journal.
So, Johnny, what do we know about this picture? We were sent here to get it, but what is it?
Based on the information that you had originally, it was supposed to be an item that dates back to the time that Grindelwald was in Europe in the 1920s. Nothing else is quite clear, other than it might be that the picture might contain hidden information about some of the things that Grindelwald was doing in Europe at the time.
Okay. Can we blue skidoo? Is that a thing in Harry Potter? I forget.
Yeah, we can too.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna say I don't know what that is, so please tell me.
So in Blue's Clues, they do a dance called Blue Skidoo, and they jump into pictures. That's literally what it is. I don't think we can actually do that. I was being cheeky.
I'm sorry, I was more of a kind of guy, but
yeah. Yeah, I think he like places it on like I assume there's like a table. We're in a hotel, right? So he places it on a table and he says, "Everyone, this has changed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea.
All right. I'll take one as well.
Milk, 2 sugars.
Black, 2 sugars.
Great.
Now, how do we get the journal out of the picture? Or how do we figure out where the picture is?
How do we not die in the process?
Yeah, well, we have 3 tries. And he looks around at the 3 of us.
Dude, were we sent by someone?
You were sent by the Ministry of Magic. By the minister himself. Or sorry, herself.
And what exactly was our mission? Just to retrieve this and get it back to them? Retrieve and investigate it, or
retrieve it and follow any leads to obtain the information that it might possibly contain.
Okay.
Do we think that this picture is of Grindelwald? Is that what we're led to believe?
They were cautious about telling you exactly what it might be. They did not give you too many details. But if you think about the exchange with Cruella, you think that might be actually the case, because she did say that it is incredibly cunning.
If you guys don't have any ideas, I'm going to try something.
I have one idea.
Okay, go for it.
And with my wand, I cast Mobiliarmus, which moves an object, and I'm attempting to move the journal in the photo.
Where do you want to move it to?
Closer. I want to bring it towards the point of view of the photo. I want to bring it towards the camera.
It works.
Ooh.
So with the control of your wand, the book slowly lifts up and moves towards, so that you can see the cover very clearly. The journal word is on this leather-bound book, and it's embossed. And the color, the reflection, all the portrait itself is in black and white, but the you can see that the embossed coloring of the letters is very shiny, as if it was something like gold. And it's sort of there floating inside of the portrait for you.
Before any of this happens, I want to cast Cave Inimicium. I failed it, I guess, but it detects enemies and emits an alarm, and I want to cast it around our room. I don't know how big the range is.
I'm going to say that you would have already warded, so anything that you decide as a ward will be there. But that specifically is important to know given the circumstances. So okay. So you can feel the wards just sort of around you, and you can see it sort of shimmering a little bit when you look out into the cityscape below of this hotel room in 2018. All right, Mar William, you've got this journal sort of hanging right there, right in front of you. It's just sort of floating, and as you move your wand slightly, it moves slightly.
Okay. How large is the photo?
It's about 8.5 by 10.
And how large is the journal?
The journal definitely fits the majority of the viewable area. Remember, there's a little bit of a mat around the actual picture itself.
Okay.
And it's a white mat. But as you bring the book forward, you can definitely see that the book, fits almost perfectly, so that you can view a page if you were to open it up.
Okay, I continue casting Mobiliarmus. I open the cover and I start very slowly rifling through pages.
Okay. As you open the first page, essentially the title page indicates that this is the private journal of Garrett Grindelwald.
Oh.
And as you flip the next page, you see a diary entry from the late 1800s. And it indicates, the time where he was, and it's very public knowledge at this particular point that he and Dumbledore were very close.
Yeah.
And it indicates, a time in his youth, and he mentions Dumbledore. And as you're kind of flipping through, the journal changes a little bit in respect. It's just from straight writing to various emblems and diagrams and discussions of spells. And at one point, you see that, of course, being indicated very early on in the book, indicated, and then you see more reference to it and more. And on one page, you see, a journal entry indicating that he had acquired it, and he's referring to the Elder Wand.
Okay. And as Aurors, we're educated on the Deathly Hallows.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially today, 2018.
Yeah.
Well, so it's 20 plus years since the Battle of Hogwarts, right? Hermione Granger is still the Minister of Magic. So as the heroes of the Battle, of Hogwarts, that is still talked about to some fair degree. But so as you're kind of looking at this and you're digging in, as you're kind of flipping through the pages, you see that the journal begins to be less and less about the information of the events of his life, and about the mid 1920s, it begins to be just all about spells, various research and spells that he's doing.
Interesting. Are some of these spells new? Are some of these spells unknown to us?
Very much so, right?
Oh,
There are some things in here. You see mention of the Horcrux as one of the things that one of the spells research that he's doing. It is not the new spell. He indicates that it's not a new spell, and at one point indicates that it's blasphemous. He doesn't actually use that word, but he does. He refuses to use that as his way to extend his, the risks are too high, is what he indicates. And as you continue to flip through, there's one final spell kind of listed in the book, and there's some pages that are empty after it. But that one final spell, all it is a series of items listed. And one is a scroll. Another is an amulet. And the third is a wand.
It's just listed as amulet, wand. What was the other thing? Sorry.
Scroll, amulet, wands.
Scroll, amulet, wand. Are they listed just as a scroll, an amulet, a wand, or is it more specific than that?
It's those three items, and then at the bottom it lists a location as we're to bring the three of them together, and it is a graveyard inside of New York City, according to the location.
Ma William, if I may have an idea that might make reading that easier.
Okay.
He walks over to a shelf and pulls off, the Gideon's Bible out of one of the shelves. It's a hotel in America. And puts it on the table, and he says, "What about a switching spell?"
Oh, that's marvelous.
And so I'm going to attempt to assist Mar William in performing a switching spell.
Refresh my memory what a switching spell does specifically?
Switches the places of two objects.
Interesting.
So Ezekiel posits that together they can possibly switch the object of this Gideon's Bible and that journal. It's never been done before, at least not as far as I've heard, but...
It's worth a shot.
What's the worst that can happen? We shatter a frame.
Is Acer helping?
One.
Say that again? You were muted.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm going to sit back and just watch on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to wait to see how things unfold before I make a move.
All right. So since you're choosing to hold back, they don't get the benefit of your cunning die. They do get the benefit of Mar Williams' cunning die and Ezekiel's knowledge die because of it's definitely representative of each of their houses. Describe to me what this looks like. Since this is difficult or unknown magic, I definitely want to hear more about what this involves. If it's never been attempted before, what does this look like as you're trying? I mean, I imagine this is more than just like a casting of a spell. There's got to be some sort of preparation, or there's some or narrative, sort of like montage of what's happening here. Can't hear you, Mike. You're muted.
I'm muted. So I think that it's not like a ritual or anything, right? But it's more like because it's uncertain territory. I think Mar William and Ezekiel would have to go over it. And I think the spell has to be performed like a mirror, right? So like one person performs it on one side, one person performs it on the other in the complete opposite of the hand movements. And it has to be performed in exact synchronicity.
Okay.
I'm going to be keeping watch at the window. I'm like super paranoid that these dudes are tracking us now. So.
It's like your equipment.
So the word that you were talking about. So I want to address this before we get into the spell. The word that you were talking about earlier, that Acer would cast as one of the wards, or as that word describes, it was specifically about detection of people actually kind of showing up. Do you want to highlight the idea that there is another ward that prevents tracking, and if you're going to do that at this particular point, I think I'm gonna create a new mechanic on the fly, and we're gonna use the old school Blades in the Dark flashback mechanic, which allows you to do that. So the way that I think that rule should work, and everybody at the table can tell me if it should be differently, but basically, once per session, you're going to be able to actually do a flashback of some kind, and this flashback, you're going to have to roll for it. But basically, you'll be able to flashback and say that as part of the wards, that's what you actually did.
Yeah, I'm okay with that then, because then I can keep guard on whatever they're doing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So you want me to roll plus, or not plus, right? Just the spell?
Yeah, just roll the spell. But it is. I assume that would be cunning. So go ahead and add your dice to it, or your yeah.
Does not happen.
Well, so it's a partial success. It's a 4, right? So that works. As you are preparing the spells of the room, you also prevent tracking from rudimentary spells coming into this particular thing. Okay, so as this ritual is sort of happening, we come back to the present. As this ritual is sort of happening, and the two of you are casting this particular spell, what does that actually look like when the books exchange?
Job, you get that one.
It should be as simple and as it should literally be as the books fade out and into each other. It should be a very simple effect where the Gideon's Bible becomes the journal becomes the Gideon's Bible. I don't know if we're holding the items as we do this, or we've literally set them down in front of each other with me and Ezekiel facing each other casting this spell, but I want to see the two items just fade in and out.
Yeah, I feel like we took the photo frame down and then put the book on top of the photo frame.
Perfect.
And then
they switch.
Okay. So as this sort of happens, the journal appears right in front of you at the end of this, and floating in the picture itself is the Gideon's Bible.
I reach out and almost with reverence take Grindelwald's journal.
Immediately as you grab it, you feel the weight of magic and influence and care and dedication to it. It's almost as if you feel him in the room with you. It's this unknown sort of alien sort of reverence kind of a thing.
Yeah.
About how old is Mar William?
Mar William is in his late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, so he would have been at Hogwarts during the Battle of Hogwarts.
He would have been, oh goodness, yes, he would have.
Okay, so this experience reminds you of, not in the exact same way, but it reminds you of being in the presence of Voldemort.
Oh goodness.
In that particular case, there was a feeling of oppressive, sinister nature and fear. In this particular case, there is this sort of, in this sort of regal indifference to some degree, and pride.
Okay.
Kind of bound into the book.
Now, Mo William has had a lot of experience with dark artifacts. Is this potentially the most dangerous thing he has ever come across?
No.
Oh.
No, but it is up there.
Okay.
The only item that he would have come across that would have been considered more dangerous was a time turner.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
So in your experience, you have hunted down and at least acquired one rogue time turner. This thing feels about the same level, but not as intent in respect to the sinister possibilities.
I literally, holding this book, I look at Ezekiel and Asa, and I'm just in shock that this worked. And I open the book and touch the pages again with reverence, and just feel the ink. Just literally take this book in.
Be careful. That lady was very scared of this.
She said it was cunning.
Yes.
Zeke picks up the photo frame and he looks at it. Ezekiel James, genius, and places it down.
Bravo,
the book is still sort of floating there as you look at it, Ezekiel, and you see a hand grab the Gideon's Bible, and it pulls.
I was at the ready.
Okay,
it's a hand in the frame.
Okay. A hand in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Pulls the book, pulls it back, begins to flip through it, and as you're looking at it, you see the figure of a man, short, spiky white hair.
Oh God.
Dressed in finery of the 1920s, just sort of flipping through it, and he walks out of frame.
With the book?
With the book.
Well, gent, spoilers. They're on to us. And he picks out like the back of the peg of the frame and sets it down in front of them.
For the rest of you, what you see is that the book is now gone. It's not on the seat. It's not anywhere. It's gone.
Now, who else would have a portrait of...
Can't we just wait for him to come back? Is that not a thing?
It is, but I assume you've spent some time in the headmaster's office of Hogwarts, or perhaps the ministress's magic...
I was in trouble quite a lot, yes.
You look like it. If anyone else has a picture of him, he can wander to and from, I would imagine.
Is there no way to summon him back here? I'm asking that. I don't know why I said that in accent. Is there no way to bring this guy back into the picture frame? I feel like he's bound.
So in most pictures, to spot some Harry Potter lore, yes, but in certain pictures, like the ones that are in the headmaster's office of Hogwarts, they're free to roam in between pictures of themselves, which is why they're not always there. So I would assume a powerful wizard of that caliber would also have that kind of enchantment on him.
Yeah, most if I remember correctly, most versions, if you had multiple copies of the same portrait or painting or whatever, or they were very similar enough, yeah, the spirit or the representation of that particular character can move back and forth among them. Rare cases like there's the knight
can move through other people's. Yeah,
can move through other people's because that's part of his job at Hogwarts.
I hate photographs.
I propose we destroy the photo.
But But then the book goes with it, does it not?
No, we already have the book.
Thought he took it back.
He didn't know. He
took
has
the Gideon's Bible, the
Gideon's
2018 Gideon's Bible.
I'm on the mailing
Which
list.
is a rarity in hotels, but because you're in a Catholic city, it's still there.
Yeah.
New Orleans is technically a Catholic city, so.
Well, I will defer to your judgment on this. You have a lot more expertise in this.
Even an echo of Grindelwald is dangerous. I don't believe we wish him to come back into frame. I do not believe we wish to see him. If we destroy this photo, in essence, we destroy an echo of Grindelwald. Assuming we can destroy this photo.
Well, Ezekiel, get at it.
He smashes the. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, you go for it. I'm just going to sit back and drink my tea.
Yeah, he smashes the frame, which I assume shatters. It's a wooden frame, and pulls out the picture and holds his wand up to it and says "Incendio," and sees if he can light the picture on fire.
Glass won't shatter.
Oh. Well, then he undoes the latches in the back of the frame, pulls the backstop out, and then pulls the picture out.
Latches won't undo.
What is that?
Latches won't undo.
What's that one spell? He does that one spell that I can't think of right now to unlock things.
Alohomora?
Yeah. Yep, he does that.
Roll it.
Okay, so I have 2d6.
This feels like a knowledge thing that if you're trying to do it, so go ahead and use your house as well.
3d6. Nope.
We're good at this. We're really good at this. They sent the right people.
Yeah.
You see the latches start to move a little bit on the back as they try to shift, but otherwise they just don't, and you're left frustrated with it as you just kind of turn it back over.
Bit of trouble over there.
Yes, the entire frame is enchanted. And he sort of slides it across the table.
So I come from a pure blood family, right? Do I know of anyone? Yes. Do I know of anyone who may have knowledge of getting rid of things like this? And is there a fireplace nearby?
Absolutely, there is a fireplace nearby. Oh, sorry. No, there would be a fireplace downstairs in the main room. This is a modern hotel. There would not be a fireplace there. Unless you're staying in a wizard hotel. But that would also announce your presence.
Yeah, no. Ministry couldn't put out the big bucks, huh?
Wow. Okay.
I'm very sassy.
Any other ideas?
Just to answer your question for Ace or otherwise, yes, in Britain, you would definitely be able to refer to a couple of people who could help you. But you're currently, in New Orleans.
Right. But I can stick my face through fire and have it appear at someone's fireplace, right? That's a thing. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember what the spell is, but yes, you could do that. I believe it. There's also, you can communicate using flu, which is the same principle, except it's a different way to do it.
Yeah. Does anybody... Should we contact someone? Should we... I feel like this is beyond our means currently to deal with the destruction of this item.
And we can't abandon it. So it
That's
comes
very
later.
correct. Okay.
Actually, I will try. I do know of another spell that is supposed to open things. Let me try casting System Aperio.
What's the description on that specifically, Joff?
Opens things.
Touche.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. With that fine knowledge there, and add your cunning, please. Add your house roll.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Oh, look at that.
All right. The latch is open on the back of the frame. reluctantly at first. They slowly begin to slide, and then just sort of in a sort of like almost like in sequence motion, they open up one at a time, and the picture itself kind of pops up, or the back of the frame sort of pops up, as if released.
Okay. I take the picture and I literally roll it up and I place it inside my robes, and looking at my colleagues, we will destroy this later.
Hold on a second. So the framing back, or the picture back, popped up.
Oh, okay.
As you pull that off, there are a series of pictures there.
A series of pictures. Oh, okay. I would like to look through these.
We've found his wizard, Graham.
As you do, you flip it over. There is a series of photographs. The first one is the same. It's the top photograph. It's the photograph that you saw in the frame. As you flip it out, you see the photograph of a woman. She's kind of smiling at you. She's got sort of a light, sort of beautiful smile. She's dressed in 20s sort of flapper garb, and she's just kind of winking at you. The next one you flip over is a dark gentleman of Asian descent, and he just has this sort of sinister look. And so as you continue to do this, you flip through 10 different pictures. Most of them are in there. And as you get to the last one, there is just a frame, or it's just an empty outlook over on a balcony, and the person is missing. You can see where there's a clear spot where it's supposed to be framed that there's somebody there, and there is a phoenix chick sort of hanging out on the balcony, sort of railing, but the person's
Phoenix?
not there.
Like an actual bird?
An actual phoenix, yes.
Okay, cool. Oh, like a chick. Okay, yeah.
Like a little.
No.
I also thought the same thing. I was like,
wow, that's
it was
badass.
like a half phoenix, half person. I didn't know you could do that. That's a hell of an interbreed.
All right. What do you got there?
I'm unsure. I believe the photos of individuals may well be some of Grindelwald's zealots, but this photo of the Phoenix chick is... I do not know what to make of these.
Looking over, do I recognize any of them? Maybe from lore or relations, or
Yeah, I was going to say
distant
the same thing.
yeah.
All right. How well are you guys versed? Or as Aurors, you would definitely be versed in some elements of magical history. Honestly, how well would your characters be sort of versed in the conflict between Grindelwald and the international organization of the international magical governments and that particular conflict?
I'm going to say that my character only would have knowledge pertaining to pure blood families. I imagine as being a pure blood and coming from a main house or whatever, I would be schooled in that as a child to recognize banners and etc. So beyond that, I have no knowledge.
And
Okay.
I would say
similarly, as a half-blood Slytherin, I took a particular interest into those Slytherins that weren't purebloods. The ones that were, shall we say, frowned upon.
Interesting. Okay. Both of you roll a knowledge roll for me.
Sure.
Okay.
That's on the sheet, right?
That is correct.
Oh, that's mental, correct?
Yes, that's mental. Sorry. Thank you.
No problem. Oh, wait, that's not right.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
You sure we can't take that 8?
Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Okay. So with a 5, given your background, you would recognize one of the individuals as a member of the Lestrange family. Someone who later would become a staunch supporter of Voldemort. One of the older Grindelwald, or one of the older Lestranges. Sorry.
Who was that? Which one was it?
Hold on just a second. Let me find that name for you.
No problem. I'm gonna.
So that's the only one that you see as you're kind of flipping through and looking at these.
Yes, this one. I believe I courted the granddaughter, or something of that nature.
By the way, her name was Wolburga Black.
Yes, that person.
You would know her as Sirius Black's mother.
Maybe not her.
Wow.
I'll relay the information.
Okay.
Just that one.
Sorry, I'm not. I don't get out much.
I was just asking. Bob William, do you recognize anyone? I don't.
Mar William would not recognize anybody based on that role. Sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
Do we know anyone that may know these people?
Would I was about to ask that. Would I know someone? I mean, she was in House Slytherin. Our families are probably close in some way, shape, or form.
Would you know somebody in the Lestrange family?
Yeah.
Probably. There would have been some connection. You know, there would have been family picnics or whatever.
Yeah.
So at that point, as you guys are marveling over this, one of your charms goes off. Wizards are entering in the lobby downstairs. You're on the 20th floor.
I'm just going to look at them and be like, cherry top scatter.
The hell does that mean?
Out of game, the cherry top scatter. It's like a 50s cops are here. Cherry tops.
I've never heard that before.
No.
Neither have I.
What the shit?
Touche.
Internet slang times.
Thank you. I learned something new today.
Dang.
It appears that we have visitors.
We can easily outrun them. Can you tell if they're the same as the ones before?
Can I?
Describe to me how the charm would work for you.
So I'm imagining that. So we said that it's going to let me know if somebody is in the area and we can't be tracked, right?
You can't be tracked. Nothing can track you inside of this ward, into this room. So nothing you brought with you can be tracked.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is, yes, the room is protected from the basic detection and basic charms to attack the room essentially.
I'm going to say I don't think so. Unless they are the most luckiest people in the world, there is no way for them to find us here. I believe somebody of the magical variety has entered. Whether here for us is probably by no means coincidence, but
the word that you put on the elevator now goes off as it alerts you that there are 3 individuals moving up the elevator.
There are 3 of them, and they're coming up the elevator.
Do we set a trap or do we flee?
I think we flee.
Okay.
There may be information to glean from this. Perhaps if we can sedate them, we might be able to interrogate them.
Perhaps.
But that's go ahead.
I was going to say interrogation is much simpler now that, you have a legilimens.
It's true.
But keep in mind, as our cowboy friends have pointed out, we are not meant to be here.
Tell you what, can you 2 make yourself scarce? Hide somewhere, under a bed perhaps, I don't know.
Isn't there a spell for that?
I don't know.
I was just thinking that.
I believe there's an app for that. Hides a secret within someone.
Yeah, there's no hide person spell. I mean, you guys can make yourself float and hide on the ceiling.
We can mute sound.
Yes, you can.
So I'm going to move into the corner and cast that spell. Into a closet or something. But I'm going to have my wand at the ready. I don't know what he's planning, but I'll be ready to do something.
Yeah, as he's doing that, Zeke kind of takes his hands and puts his hands through his face, and he looks like an elderly man.
And I will hide behind the door.
All right. Okay.
And he sits down at the table and he slides over Acer's tea and begins stirring the tea as an elderly, liver-spotted man.
Dude, there was 3. I made one for everyone.
I stand behind the door drinking my tea.
I guess I'll run out real quick, grab my tea, and then run back in.
He steers his own tea.
If there were 3 cups and there was only you, people would think that was really weird. So,
True.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear a knock at the door. At that point, your ward goes off, your charm goes off, and lets you know that the 3 individuals there are again 2 witches and 1 man, and there appears to be a witch knocking at the door.
Yes, come inside. The door's unlocked.
Okay. The door opens, and in walks the witch as the other witch and wizard begin to look down the hallway. Wands at the ready, like they're just their hands are on their wands inside of their jacket pockets. You can see that's obvious what's going on. As the witch walks in and she says, "I believe you have something of mine."
I'm sorry, I don't even know who you are. To what do I owe the honor?
Where is the photograph?
There's a picture of flowers on my bedside table. Came with the hotel.
Pulls out her wand, points it at you. Where is the photograph?
You're just waving a stick at me, lady.
And she casts Ravello.
Expelliarmus.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to Magicus Extremos that and make it stronger.
Damn.
Make the Expelliarmus stronger, or make his disguise stronger.
So my disguise isn't a disguise; it's my face.
No, I'm gonna make the Expelliarmus stronger.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
My face is literally the face of an old man now. I'm an Anamorphomagus. I can just turn my face into other things.
All right. I thought, isn't it only an animal?
No, it's other people. It's actually dyes. That's how Tonks dyes her hair different colors and yeah.
So you just have disguise self at will?
Yeah.
That's so great.
It's the same ability that Grindelwald has and displays in the first movie.
Yeah.
So all right. Mar William, when you do this, so you're behind the door. The door opens. You're behind the door. How do you do it? You just close the door shut, and then
I literally close the door on the other 2, and I say Expelliarmus.
And Acer, you magnify this. So I'm gonna have Acer actually do the roll with an assist from the cunning coming from Mar William as well. So. And you're going to get cunning as well. So that take your dice roll, which I believe is 2, add your cunning for being Slytherin, and then add his cunning for being Slytherin as well. So it's going to be a 4d6.
I'm rolling. He's rolling it, right? Because it's his spell.
You're rolling it because you're magnifying it.
Oh, okay.
Because you're basically trying to. Okay, all right.
I'm good at role playing games.
Roll20 really likes you. I don't like you so much.
I have to fudge my dice rolls. I roll nat 20s like literally all the time. I'm the anti-Will Wheaton.
Wow.
Well, so you are that dick. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe. Do you want to take over the narrative and describe to me what happens when this happened? When you help Mar William disarm her, or do you want Mar William to take it over, or do you want me to describe what happens?
It was his spell. I'm just magnifying, so let him take it over.
All right. So Mar William, what happens when your Expelliarmus just gets personified?
It is literally the perfect Expelliarmus. I'm casting it behind her. Her wand flips over her shoulder, and I catch it deftly.
Okay.
So then I'm holding 2 wands.
I'm going to face the door now.
She turns in shock, and that's when you start hearing the slams coming against the door, as there are spells that are trying to penetrate the wards that are currently around this room. The way that I'm envisioning this working, because Ezekiel allowed this person to walk in, she is not affected by those words because she was invited in. They were not invited in, or they did not actually accept the invitation, so they cannot actually enter the room again without being invited, or until they bring down the wards that are currently around this particular room. And as the woman kind of turns around and looks at Mar William, as the rest of you are figuring out what you're doing, she looks at you and says, "I will take that back, please, right now."
I think not. Who are you and what do you want?
Who I am is of no interest. What I'm here for is the photo. If you give me the photo, you give me the frame, I will make sure that you don't remember a thing, and that this little trip to New Orleans is a short one for you.
Let me think about it. No.
Spells are still are hitting the wards.
Can I reinforce them?
You sure can if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
I would like to assist.
Okay. Can't hear you, Mike.
As they're reinforcing the wards, he says, "You know what? I don't think we have time for this." And he gets up and changes the space back to normal and points his wand at her. And he says, "Step back, please." Hoping she'll step back towards the door.
I'm going to look at her and be like, "We are not above catching a body tonight."
My body isn't important, she says. The people outside of that door, they're only a small representation of our group. And at that, Mar William, in the background, what you see at the window is 2 more witches floating up on brooms, wands pointed, and they begin to start issuing, attacks against the wards as well.
Slow motion with the pair of wands. Now that I have 2, I literally point 2 wands out the window. Stupefy.
Gunslinging now. That's so great.
Jim Dark Magic.
Acer may have been the duelist, but it sounds like Mar William is the badass.
Oh, man.
All right, roll it for me. And this feels more like this doesn't feel like a cunning move, more as an act of desperation a little bit. So your house is not going to apply here. But because you have a wand that you retrieved from this particular witch, it now belongs to you as the rules of dueling. You'll get a +1 die for that.
Okay, that gives me 3d6.
3d6.
Oh my god!
Hey.
Wow.
1 for each wand.
And you didn't even need that to get that freaking roll too. That's pretty good. All right, Mar William, please describe what happens to the 2 witches that are currently attacking outside as you make your move.
Let me just. Okay, so Stupefy literally knocks out the opponents. They spin backwards out of the air and plummet out of sight. What floor are we on?
20th floor.
Boy. That's what I was going to do.
Oh, well, they're supporters of Grindelwald. They deserve this. I blast them out of the air.
Okay, so I have a motivation question just real quick about Mar William. He's a half-blood Slytherin.
Yeah.
That still works within the ideals of Grindelwald. Would he really feel that way?
No.
Okay.
But it's him or them, so,
Fair enough. All right. So they go spinning back as they're as they begin to lose consciousness, and their brooms begin to spin, and they go spinning off into the distance, out of sight, as the attacks continue. I'm only a small person in our group. You need to give me those photos. You don't want to run into him.
Who's him? And also back up, please.
As she slowly moves back, as she moves more towards William against the wall where he was near the door, but just on the other side of the door itself.
No, right in front of the door.
No. Put her in front of the window, and I'm gonna levitate her out the window.
Some gangster.
You're gonna levitate her out the window?
Is that not a thing? Can I not?
Sure. Describe to me how you're going to do it. Okay, so in my head, and we can talk about how this actually works, but in my head, modern hotels prevent you from actually opening windows. So how are you going to get her outside of the window? Unless you want to describe, unless we want to change the settings so that that this particular hotel has opening and closing windows.
So in Harry Potter, the stupefy spell does knock shit over on its way to the target. So the glass could have been shattered by those two stupefy spells.
In which case we have bigger issues.
So, all right, Ezekiel, what broke the window as on the 20th floor? Was it what item in the room broke that?
Oh no, I think he pointed the wands and that shattered the window. Like the spell itself right. Shattered the window. Okay. Yeah.
So rewinding back a bit, as these switches the spell goes out and his crit hits, what happens is the entire window just shatters in this brilliant display of glass as it flies out, and then the two witches are floating down, and you guys are all getting whipped by the wind and the cold, and you feel that there's a storm sort of coming in from the south, and it is a cold rainy night in October, in relatively cold, I guess, because it's still the south, but so you Acer, you take her and you levitate her out towards, outside the window.
I'm going to look at her and say, if you do not say your words carefully and answer my friend's questions here, I will send your body. We'll see your dedication to your leader.
She shakes her head and smiles. I'm not afraid of death.
Fine. Then maybe you're afraid of failing, and perhaps I should just lock you here and he'll know that you have failed.
He's not that shallow.
Damn, this guy's a badass.
We've been patient for a very long time. And as you're kind of holding her there, you begin to take in a little bit more features of her. She looks incredibly old. There's a glamour on her, but under that she appears to be very old.
Anyone else have any questions or want to try this?
I do have something, and I use occlumency to go really deep into her thoughts.
All right. In this particular case, I want you to roll it.
Okay.
And cunning is definitely going to apply here. Your house is definitely going to apply.
Okay. Can he get a +1 cunning for me holding her out the window?
Sure.
I imagine her mind is like, no.
She's keeping her cool in all of this. So that's why he's rolling. That's why he's having to roll. But the fact that you're doing that as a part of it, then absolutely he deserves to get the additional die.
Okay, so I get cunning twice?
Yes.
Okay.
So 47. I swear to God, if you roll another crit, I'm gonna cry.
Hey!
It was that additional cunning. Okay, so when you dip into her mind, you see the following things. You get a flash, and she is actively trying to resist you. She is actively trying to fight you because she realizes that she needs to protect herself in this situation. She doesn't know from where it's going to come, but she is actively fighting. So it's difficult to dig through these thoughts. But the following things come to light. There is a graveyard, and there is a tomb. And inside of that tomb, down a stairway, is a small mausoleum where there is a meeting going on, and you see the shadowy figure, and it is a young man, black hair, modern business suit clothes, except there is an emblem on his jacket, and of course that emblem is that. Otherwise, he's immaculately dressed, and he's talking with a number of other people in the room. There are, from what you can tell, there's about 7 other people in the room of various types of dress and social status. He smiles occasionally, and his smile is quite charming, and yet there's a little bit of sinister nature behind it. Flashes to her running down the street with the 2 that she was with, the witch and the wizard, and you get to see their faces clearly. They are running towards the meeting location from which you on the street in the French Quarter where the 3 of you were. But they realize they didn't actually make it there in time. She's panicking because she feels that she's going to miss the location of it. Flip to for later, her actually conversing with the snitch that gave the Makusa Aurors the information about the backroom deal that was going on in the jazz club where you were. Flipped, switching again to the fact that while the room was empty, when they finally got into the back there, they're casting a spell to get a sort of a general location of where you might be in the city, where you might have operated. And so subsequently, another flash, they're moving down in the downtown area where the hotels are, and one at a time, they're hitting one hotel at a time, and they're casting detection spells until they finally locate a heavily warded hotel room at the top of a hotel in the downtown district. And that's when they clue the rest of their group in.
Ezekiel, I told you not to put that ward on there.
Damn it. It's always mine, not yours. I don't think I warded this room.
You did. Do you relay this information to us, by the way?
I'm relaying this. As I'm pulling it out of her, I'm literally just...
Yeah. Portcullis style.
Yeah, it's literally just, I'm saying what I'm seeing.
Okay, so as you're relaying this information to her, from her, you see her face just get more and more tired as she is trying to fight you, and you are just pulling this out of her, unwillingly, and it's just swirling, sort of swirling in her head as she's still trying to fight you as it's going, and by the end, she is exhausted from the fight of trying to prevent you from actually getting this information. And off in the distance, against a backdrop of lightning, you see a couple of individuals on brooms heading your direction.
And are we done with her?
I think we're done. Stupefy.
Oh, okay. I just want to turn someone to a duck.
Oh, then by all means.
No. Stupefy's fine. I'll duck someone else.
We could stupefy a duck.
Yeah, we could do that too. No, we'll do it later. It's fine. I'll get to it.
Who stupefies her as the magical attacks continue against the door, and the wards are beginning to drop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull her in so she doesn't die. But
okay. So you pull her in, and then you cast stupefy, and she just collapses on the ground.
Where to, boys?
Well, we have 2 choices. We separate, and I'm kind of feeling like I keep seeing this damn snitch. I want to go after this snitch.
Do you know where they are? Or is it the golden variety?
GM, did I recognize the location? Because I saw where the snitch was at a bar.
The snitch was at the same bar that you walked through, the same jazz club where you had the initial meeting.
Okay, we're going back to the club.
Club it is. I love jazz.
He pulls his wand out and touches it to the temple of the unconscious old lady. and says, "Obliviate." And puts his wand back in. Says, "All right, let's go. Jazz Club it is."
Obliviate someone?
Yeah, I erase their memories.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought it was at all.
Yeah.
Which memories are you eliminating?
Just like up until she walks in the room, from like walking in the room to now.
Okay.
Smooth move.
All right. As you do this, there is a thin thread that comes away with you. Attaching it to her temple, and it just sort of comes away. And since you don't actually make an attempt to capture it, it just sort of, lays, falls towards the ground and then just sort of vanishes.
Cool.
They're through the door already?
They're trying to get through the door. They're slamming left and right. It is, a relentless attack. There appears to be some activity going on in the rest of the hotel as they're being alerted about what's going on. There's a disturbance, and you get a sense from your wards that there's much more activity headed their direction. But for right now, they are not hiding what they're doing. They are just trying to get into this room still.
Well, Jazz Club it is. Yes?
Yeah.
And you all apparate back to the Jazz Club? All right. So you find yourself in an alley just around the corner from where the Jazz Club was. You had walked there in the streets before and had loitered in this particular back alley in an attempt to, just kind of collect yourselves before going inside. You can still hear that the same jazz trio is playing sax, bass, and drums. And they're kind of doing their thing. And so as you begin to kind of come around to the front of the street, you find yourself again on a French Quarter street. And the club is just this sort of small joint with a much larger back room. Based on what you had known previously when walking in after kind of looking at the place, it was the kind of place that was a small storefront and was a big speakeasy back in the 20s.
Where to, Marvel?
First, I suggest we disguise ourselves as muggles. And then
important to note, I am actually not in robes. I'm in a full, tight Hugo Boss suit, slim fitting. I have a nice pair of, it's gray. I got a pink tie, undervest. So.
Okay.
Just so you guys know. Sorry.
Perfect. Yeah, I guess Ezekiel looks around for a clothing store. I assume where there's a strip somewhere that we can.
Wouldn't you say that your ability also grants you the ability to change your outerwear?
Sure.
Or not. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to say no, but
it does now for sake of narrative convenience. Sure.
I mean, unless you really want to do a shopping montage, and then I'm perfectly okay with doing a shopping montage.
No, I will do the. Yeah, we'll do that. He transforms his outfit with him.
Okay, so last question for Mar William then. What are you wearing?
Okay, this is a stretch. I'm currently in my robes, but in Fantastic Beasts, the Goldstein sisters are able to alter their attire.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do the same thing? I'm not changing my physical appearance. I'm changing my attire.
No, I would assume that it's a relatively easy sort of transfiguration spell of some kind.
Okay,
to be able to do that.
Then
or maybe even the charm switch.
I'll take a leaf out of Ace's book and I'll put myself in a black suit with a black shirt and a black tie.
All right. So the three of you step back into the club. It's definitely still a tightly packed room. You can barely get across. Mar William, you recognize the man sort of sitting at the bar that is the snitch. He's a gentleman in his early 40s, not very well dressed, but dressed well enough that he's not going to get thrown out, but he's definitely not in he's not dressed in his finest, and he is clearly drinking some bourbon and sort of trying to get the attention of the bartender, and she is having nothing to do with him.
So I have a question. There is a spell that allows me to repel muggles. Is that like they bounce away, or is that like they just up and decide that they don't want to be here anymore?
Right. I remember seeing that on the spell list.
Yeah, me too. I can't find it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's something muggles is the Repelio muggles.
Yeah.
Sorry, Repelio mugglum.
Yeah.
Mugglum, excuse me. I guess to me it seems like it would be about intent. Ultimately, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get the muggles to leave here. So in case a scene has to go down, a scene goes down. And we don't have to worry about people showing up on CNN or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay to cast. But when you cast it, I'm going to ask you for a narrative explanation of how the muggles leave.
I'm going to say that the music to them just starts sounding terrible. And they're just like, there's that new place down the block. You guys want to go there? I heard the drinks are cheaper. And then they just all start leaving.
Okay. Where are the three of you situated when you cast this?
I'm going to sit down at a table and just have an old fashioned in my hand and start swirling it around. When you grab the top and you just move it around.
Okay. Can't hear you, Mike.
I'd be at a table as well.
All right. So as the spell is cast, and you're very subtle about it, there begins to be a dissent among the patrons as it's exactly that. You begin to hear complaints about the music just not sounding all that great. At one point, you see the manager come from the back of the bar. Another woman in her 40s, dressed very finely, just sort of make her way towards the bandstand as patrons are beginning to kind of file out. The couple of patrons are looking around, including the individual seated at the bar. Just kind of taking in, the weird mass exodus that is happening as the crowd is just getting frustrated. And then the music stops and the band is being forced to start to pack up as the manager is just having an argument with the band leader, who is the bass player. And they're beginning to pack up and start to move their way out as well. And you find yourself seated after a couple of minutes in the place with two wizards sort of sitting at a table, kind of marveling and kind of looking around, trying to figure out where the spell came from as they realize what's happening. And the one snitch at the bar just kind of beginning to panic and looking for exits and not sure if you can make the door before, somebody in the room tries to approach him.
I feel bad. I just ruined that band's career. We need more jazz players.
They're never going to play in this town again.
Yeah.
That's all your fault.
I just blackballed them. Jesus.
Are there any more muggles left in the bar?
There are no more muggles left. The bartender that the snitch was trying to gain attention of walked into the back. She hasn't come back since. The manager, after telling the band that they need to exit, walked back into the back as well.
I'm going to get the bartender to refill my drink before she leaves.
Yeah, too late.
Has Marwilliam pointed out the snitch to us?
I will point out the snitch, and I will also be, my attention is on the two wizards at the table.
The two wizards kind of they're looking around, taking in the situation as they realize what's going on. And when they see the three of you sort of intently sort of staring in their direction and at the individual, they both raise their hands, clearly staying away from their wands, stand up, and begin to walk out.
I'm going to get up, holding my drink in my hand and take a small sip and then sit at the table with the snitch and then just kind of cross my legs and lean back in the chair, asserting dominance through comfortability.
What's going on? What do you... I don't want any trouble. I'm just going to leave here. And he begins to slowly stand up.
Have a seat, friend. Have a seat. My friend over here has some questions for you. and you are going to answer him as truthfully as you answered the other people you told about our business, and you're going to walk out of here just fine. If you don't, you will be a duck.
And trust me, you do not want to be a duck.
At that, he kind of opens his eyes wide and he slowly slits back down. And you see that he grabs at his, his jacket lapel and kind of, does this sort of weird sort of, like almost like self-conscious or even unconscious habit of like nervousness as he's kind of rubbing, his lapel. He's holding on to himself very tight and sort of like protecting himself almost.
Yes, that will all be feathers soon.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you need? What's going on?
Now, we can do this two ways. My friend here has a sneaker scope, so we can tell if you're lying, or I can go into that head of yours and pull out everything we wish to know. So are you going to be honest and forthright, or do I have to rip it out of your head?
And he's just kind of, he's rubbing, and you see that the rubbing is kind of getting more, kind of feverish as your words begin to sit in. I prefer you not messing around in my mind.
Okay. Could you stop that? It's making me anxious.
He's got a trigger finger. You should see what he does with two of those wands.
And he's still holding on to his lapels as he's doing this.
I will actually lay the pair of wands just in front of me on the table. You know who we are. You know that we were part of a deal. You knew about the deal, and you have tipped off at least 2 groups of individuals to that deal, thus endangering us and the item we were pursuing. Who are you, and why did you tip them off?
He kind of gets uncomfortable. Is the sneakoscope out?
He hasn't pulled the sneakoscope out yet, but he does walk behind this guy in the chair and like slide a hand like up to his jacket and pull his wand out.
Oh, the snitch. The snitches. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's making a move to do that.
So as you do that, your hands. He moves his hand. And as you do that, you reach your hand into his jacket pocket. You feel something sort of like catch you a little bit as your hand is kind of moving in, and there's clearly something inside of the lapel.
So as I pull the wand out, can I also pull his jacket open?
Yes. And you see a little symbol that looks exactly like this attached to the inside of his sort of jacket pocket.
Yeah, I think he takes his. So he takes the guy's wand out, revealing the what is it? The Elder Sign? No, that's not what it's called. That's Cthulhu. Whatever that thing's called. The Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows. And like in one swift motion, he reveals that and then points down and says "Kulushu," and sticks his shoes to the ground.
And he starts panicking. No, I need to go. No, they're coming. I need to go. They're going to kill me.
Probably. So you should probably answer our questions very fast.
My name is Aurelius. Aurelius Day. I just make a little extra money trying. It's hard. It's hard being a wizard in this city. There's so many rules. He's trying to make a little extra money. Let me go.
How did you know about the deal?
I hear things. Carilla wasn't very smart about the deal. She broadcasting that she needed galleons badly. She was selling something that was of great value, but she just wanted to offload it. It seemed like the right kind of thing for the Makuza to know. So they paid me. Come on, I gotta go. They're gonna get here soon.
And the other faction?
No, I'm not. Look, if they find me here, they're Randall's gonna kill me.
Yeah, probably. That's a very... Whoa. I didn't even catch that.
Shit. I shouldn't have said his name.
And I go in there. I go straight in and level my wand on his forehead, and I use occlumency to pull out everything on Randall.
All right, because he's bound in the situation and he's panicking, but he's basically otherwise subdued. There's not going to be a roll for this.
Okay.
But you are going to get the same sensation that you got with the witch, where she tried to resist you. Everything that you pull out from him. Yes, it's just difficult. Immediately when you focus in on the name Randall, you see in his mind the same person that you were dealing with. You see the same person that you were seeing at the center of the mausoleum. Hi, at the mausoleum, doing. Holding whatever meeting was going on there. But in this particular case, when you see his face as Day remembers him, it's an anger, and there's a sinister pleasure to what he's doing. And you see him threatening Day with terrible curses if he doesn't inform for no first name, just Mr. Randall, and use and if there's ever an issue where somebody is actually, looking into his business, into Randall's business, he's to use and alert them so that the Randall's people can come and actually find them. And there's these threats, and you get a little bit about Cruella as well. She used to be a part of Randall's faction, but his group, but she stole this item from him. And tried to get away, and the three witches or the three wizards that were with her were afraid of what Randall would do if they found out. But they realized that what Randall was intending to do would bring absolute chaos and would bring a lot of heat down on them. So Randall is just trying to exert whatever influence he has on Day and on Cruella, and you get all this information in sort of this burst, and there's all of this fear and anxiety and just absolute desire to it's a fight or flight situation, and this guy wants to flee really badly.
Okay, and I'm relaying this as I'm pulling it out.
Mm.
It would seem this Mr. Randall, he wants the photo of the journal. If he realizes we actually have the journal itself, we need to take this somewhere safe.
We can talk about that in a moment. Do we let this guy flee? Do you guys want to let this guy flee?
I say we obliviate him and let him meet his fate.
I actually have an idea.
Oh.
You want to duck him?
No, I don't know what your obsession is with ducks.
And I'm still waiting for the duck thing.
He uses this same guy's wand, and he does a stupefy at close range on this guy to kind of knock his ass out. But
his head snaps back, and he just kind of does the thing in the chair, but his feet are still balanced.
Yeah. So he slumps him forward, so he's kind of looking. He's passed out on a table. And then he looks around, because I assume 20 some odd patrons kind of left, and he sort of sprinkles some beer on him so he smells like a drunk, and then puts a few glasses in front of him, and he says, "Ma William, could I see that photograph you have? Just hold it there." And he points the wand. He takes out his wand, because they're trustworthy. They're much more trustworthy. And he says, "Geminio," in an attempt to duplicate the object.
Ooh.
What is your ultimate goal here? Are you attempting to actually replicate
a rough facsimile of that object?
Okay. So to me, that doesn't seem like there's any particular possibility of failure, given it's a facsimile.
Yeah.
And so on the table,
like a Muggle photo, right? Basically,
right, exactly. Except that it mimics. If there was somebody in the picture, it would actually mimic.
Yeah, but it's just the chair, right?
Right, exactly. The facsimile just sort of replicates there. But as the facsimile just sort of, appears there, you see the back of a figure heading off the left side.
In the facsimile?
In the facsimile. And it's frozen there.
Okay. That's totally fine. More or less. And he takes the fake one and sort of like folds it a few times to give it those creases, and then tucks it in his wand pocket, the snitch.
Okay.
And then he says, yes, right, obliviate. And he removes this conversation. So now he's going to wake up seemingly drunk, wandless, and with a photo of the photo that everyone's looking for.
This guy's going to have a great day.
And so as you obliviate him, again, a thread just sort of pulls from his, with his at the tip of your wand from his head. And as you choose not to collect it, it just, again, starts to, kind of flourish towards the ground like a feather and then dissipates.
Well, that was fairly easy. Where to next?
I have an idea, a question. The last page of the journal, it lists these 3 items.
And the grave marker in New York in a cemetery.
I feel like we should head to New York.
I'm down for a big apple. They have apples there, right? That's how that works.
Huge apples.
All for it.
How far can wizards actually apparate?
I think they have a pretty far distance.
I don't think it's that far. I don't think it's New Orleans to New York.
And another question. I mean, obviously,
there's a fireplace in this place, by the way.
Well, I was going to say there is a flu network in England, in Great Britain. Is there a flu network in America?
There sure is.
Okay, fantastic. That's what we're going to do.
However, we just got it like last week.
It's still janky.
So, just out of curiosity, Acer, what's the narrative reason for that? What's the story behind just getting it last week?
So I'm amazed that credit cards have like chips in them. And when I was in Portugal, they were like, dude, we've had this for like 10 years. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. So I'm assuming we just get everything last. It's fine.
Yeah. I experienced deja vu because I left England a good 13, 14 years ago and we had chips and they became a big thing here in the last couple of years. And I'm like, wait, what?
Americans are stupid. It's just, let's be clear about that. That's American technology is stupid. Anyways. Yeah. All right. So you're in you head over to the fireplace. You've left the scene sort of there. I'm assuming that you have some flu powder for this particular circumstance.
I always carry some.
Where are you heading? Pick a place in New York. Tell me what would be the ministry's safe house in New York or what?
There, only because I actually went to this place. There's a place called Please Don't Tell Me. It was an old school speakeasy turned to a modern day bar, and the only way to get into it is to dial a certain number in a phone booth located in a hot dog shop.
What?
Yeah.
Where is this in New York?
I'll take you, Mike. I got you.
I'm in Jersey right now, so you should send me the address. I'll go up there.
Yeah.
I will make a trip to New York just to find this place. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I'll give you guys the lowdown later. I can't tell. The place is literally called Please Don't Tell.
Fair enough.
All right. So describe to us the inside of Please Don't Tell.
It is incredibly cozy. All of the chairs and everything else are like the velvet backed, gold painted rimmed wood. The counter itself is like beautifully wood grained. There's like for some reason, a random deer head out of the wall. There's chandeliers coming out of the place. It's very regal.
Okay, and where's the fireplace in this place?
For narrative purposes, because there wasn't one. We're gonna say that the mantle is in the common room on the left-hand side seating area.
And I'm assuming that it's throw the flu power, please don't tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is some sort of weird children's story that we're in. I guarantee you this is just demented as hell. All right.
It's called Harry Potter.
Brothers Grimm version.
The Grimm Tales of Harry Potter. All right. Yeah. So the three of you appear in New York in Please Don't Tell. And as each of you arrive, there is a house elf there offering you a drink as you appear. There you go. And for each of you, it is your drink of choice, whether it's an ale, whether it's a spirit, or whether it's tea. Each of you, as you arrive, the elf is just there, and it just boop, giving you a moment to kind of reflect on the location as Acer has described.
I need a drink at this point, and he takes a spirit. Now, Ma William, where is the place we're going to?
And I refer to the journal. It's a graveyard. Do I know where this graveyard is? Would I know? Is there? Please tell me there's an address.
I'm actually looking up. Anybody have any great graveyards in New York? Any old graveyards? Otherwise, I'm just going to pull one out of my ass about in Manhattan right now. All right. I guess we're going to go with the Prospect Cemetery.
Oh.
This is a...
Oh, wait. Are you asking for a legitimate one?
I'm asking for a legitimate one.
Do the one in Times Central Park. Or right by Central Park.
All right.
I don't remember. Just go with the Prospect. Sorry.
No, go ahead and tell me the one about Central Park real quick.
There is a really old church. It actually has the first African American who was ever allowed to vote there too. I remember seeing it like 2 weekends ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
And how big is this cemetery in Central Park?
There's maybe about 3 or 4 mausoleums, but mostly it's just old weathered. It's not in Central Park; it's around it, but it's mostly old weathered gravestones. So
nice.
Yeah.
So that is the location.
Okay.
And the information specified is one of the mausoleums.
Okay. That's where we're going.
Perfect.
All right.
Should we leave now, or?
Well, finish your drink.
Just out of curiosity, what drink did the house elf actually hand each of you?
A gimlet.
Long Island iced tea.
If you would.
An old fashioned.
Your drink choices are weird. All right.
Why is it weird?
Mine is classy as hell. I don't know what you're saying.
So is a gimlet.
Like having a Tom Collins, man.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll take a rusty nail.
Take a Negroni or a gimlet or a sidecar.
All right, we're gonna cut to.
It's a speakeasy, Johnny. What do you offer us? They only serve old-fashioned drinks.
You know what I'm saying?
So we're going to cut to the three of you apparating to the graveyard, or walking your way to the graveyard from Please Don't Tell. Modern New York, 2018. Occasionally you see evidence of the wizarding world just sort of around you, but for the most part, it is a highly dense sort of modern, urban, environment. So not much going on there. But as you get towards the graveyard, surprisingly, it feels a little bit more as if the magical presence in the greater, sort of wizarding world is there. Just sort of, in that environment as you're kind of approaching towards the graveyard itself. And when you step up and you're making your way through the headstones towards the mausoleum itself, you step up and there's a closed door, locked, and the name over the top of the graveyard or the mausoleum itself reads Graves. Choff gets it.
I don't.
I also
You
do.
like me? Damn. Can I be a part of your cool kids club?
No, I don't. I also don't.
Oh. All right.
All right. So it stands in front of you closed.
Hello, Hamora.
Easy enough. Thank you.
Does not work.
Ooh, fancy. I still don't have an apple
We will get you an apple
and a duck.
and a duck.
I thought you were going to make the duck.
We're arguing semantics here. How do we get in here?
What's locked? Is it a chain with an actual padlock on it? What are we looking at here?
No, it's an actual door with an actual. It's a door inside the mausoleum. It's a very old wooden door. It's very plain, and there is a handle with a keyhole, but it is locked.
What's the time of day?
I was assuming that it's still sort of nighttime for you guys. So yeah,
Cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. And we're inside the mausoleum, like we went down like a set of stairs or like a small.
no,
set of stairs.
you're in the outside of the sort of the outside structure before it leads sort of down.
Hey, so if you don't mind, and he pulls out his wand, could you silence the area? And he sticks he sticks the wand into the keyhole.
I will do just that.
And so after he silences the area, he says, "Bombarda," and causes an explosion in the keyhole.
And as you do, roll it for me.
Perfect. Is that a +1 knowledge? No, I didn't think so.
Well, if you argue how it's going to work, I mean, how it's going to do that. Actually, you know what? It is because you asked him to cast Silencio around you.
Yeah.
So that totally works.
Fuck you.
Well, so it does work, and the Silencio does provide you some sort of cover to the noise. But what happens is the amount of force that comes from the effect kind of slams into you as the door just kind of flies out, off of its hinges and kind of knocks you across the way as you're kind of laying flat on your back as there's this door on top of you. But otherwise, you do actually open the door.
Ow.
And so as Ezekiel is trying to pull this door off of himself and just kind of get himself, sort of situated, you see an open, sort of like, a door opening and a stairway down that is lit by candle flames that begin to light as the doorway, as the door kind of flew off. They light down towards inside of the mausoleum.
This is not scary at all, I say as I back behind Ezekiel.
You're literally a wizard.
Abby. Someone had to do it at some point. Sorry.
So he slides the door off of himself and gets to his feet and well, let's go. Ma, William, after you.
Oh, excellent. Okay. And I'll lead the way.
I'm going to turn around in case anyone follows us, and I'm just going to Scourgify and clean the mess up.
Interesting. Go ahead and roll it.
Sure.
Add your cunning to it because that works.
Hey, that's not so bad. That could have been worse.
It could have been worse, absolutely. So not completely scoured clean and maybe there's no visible, but the door does come back onto its hinges. Most of the mausoleum stones just sort of come back into place that were blown out from it, and the door just kind of closes, but the pathway is still pretty lit.
It's fine. We're in America. There's a crumbling infrastructure. Hey.
Wow.
That's rough.
All right, so you descend all the way into the stairs, and you find yourself, coming into what's essentially an open space, and lined around in a circle are various grave markers for individuals of the Graves family. And you see, most of them dating back very far. And the last one that was placed, even though there are a number of spaces available for more the last one was placed in the mid 1920s, and it says Percival Graves.
This is the one.
So do we just defile the tomb, or?
I am afraid so.
Well,
I'm not the most moral person here, but does anyone have a problem with this?
If the 3 objects we seek are in here, I do not have a problem with it. If the objects are not in here, I'm going to feel really bad.
well, this worked so good before. And he points his wand. He touches the tip of the wand to the part that says Percival Graves and says, "Bombard."
Silence.
And
Silence. I'm silencing. This is my silence flicking motion. I'm in panic.
That's the spell.
Yeah.
So you silence. Bombardment happens at the same time. The stone sort of placement, on the in this mausoleum, the coffins are placed into the walls, and then there is this sort of like this stone slab that's placed over them with the name. Ezekiel bombards it, and the one that says Percival, the stone slab just sort of begins to kind of crumble and crack, and then explodes out, and you're left with a coffin just there.
Well, this was your idea, William.
Okay, and pointing at the coffin, I will try System Aperio, which is another way to open things.
Did anybody ever wonder why we have so many different spells that do the same thing?
You might want to pull the coffin out of the hole.
Let's do that.
I'll do that while he's unlocking it and opening it. You can focus. I got you.
So how are you pulling the coffin out of there? Are you just levitating it out or whatever?
Yeah, or that move spell.
I think a tandem Leviosa is just easy enough to slide that thing out of there.
Yeah.
All right. So you sort of pull it out, and it sort of slides down as Marwilliam attempts to open it, and the coffin just pops open ever so slightly. The lid is just sort of off, and you can see that it's on a sort of a it was latched down, but everything just popped off and just slides ever so slightly, so that the coffin is like this. The top is askew just a little bit.
I'm gonna illuminate. I forgot the word, and I'm just gonna send the ball, because there's one that makes a ball, and I'm just gonna send it in there, see what happens.
Almost maximum. Yeah. Okay. So as it kind of descends into the hole, you can see that there is sort of velvet lining based on where you can see, but there's not much else in there. There's not like shadows that you would expect if there was actually sort of like the rotting corpse that was in there.
Interesting. There appears to be a body in this grave.
In the actual hole in the wall. Is that right,
What do you
John?
mean?
There's a body in the hole in the wall?
No, there's no body in the hole in the wall, and there's no body in the coffin based on the way that the light is reflecting inside of the coffin.
Oh, I thought he was sending the light in the hole in the wall.
Mm-mm.
Oh. Is there anything else?
Do you actually open the coffin, like open and look inside of it, or are you just gonna like let it sort of slightly there and have this this little ball of light just kind of floating back inside of it?
Yes, Marley, are you?
Yeah, I'm opening it. I'm using Wingardium Leviosa to lift the lid.
Oh, I thought you were.
It's okay. As you do, the coffin lid just sort of comes off to the side. The ball of illumination just kind of floats up above it, and all that you find inside of the coffin itself is a wand placed towards the head of it, and then otherwise the velvety inside is sort of empty.
Okay, I reach in and I take the wand and I inspect it.
I believe that's mine. As you hear a voice coming from behind you.
God damn it.
Damn it!
And as the three of you kind of turn at the voice, you see the shape of, or the individual that Mer William knows as Randall sort of step down. And behind him, 4 different wizards, kind of step back, all dressed in sort of various types of outfits. Some clearly traditional wizarding outfits. Some are street clothes as if they are homeless people, and some are just, casual clothes.
I'm, with the quickness of my dueling wand, I'm going to duckify the first one.
Wait. Is that a canon spell now? Duckify?
No, it's literally in here. It's in here. It's actually a spell.
Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. I gotta look this shit up.
It's called Ducklaflores. Turns things into ducks.
It's from the video game.
I mean, it's better than Draconiphores, where you turn things into a dragon. So,
That was my way of getting out of the hotel room. Right. Ezekiel, you were totally about to become a dragon.
perfect. So, Johnny, what is a wizard duck?
I think we broke him.
I can't believe that there's actually a freaking spell about this. All right, so which one are you duckifying?
The first one, who I'm assuming was the one who's speaking. So to me, anybody who speaks like that is definitely the most badass of them. So he's now a duck.
All right, I want you to use your magic pool. I'll give you your cunning, although I don't think it's that,
It's my magic item. I don't know if that applies to effect. If that makes it easier to swallow or something.
Sure. Go ahead and add your magic item as well.
Yeah. So
you do. It starts to happen, right? The effect begins to happen as you see that the feathers start to come and the bill starts to kind of shape out, and he starts to shrink a little bit. And then you see him sort of shake it off.
Just once.
And feathers begin to fall to the floor. And he otherwise just kind of... That's a childish spell. I thought you were...
Worked.
And he reaches out his hands to Mer William. I believe that wand is mine.
I disagree. You're not getting this wand.
Are you sure about that? And he pulls out what looks like the journal.
I'm immediately, as he does that, I'm going to cast Ebiblo.
What is Ebiblo?
Puts an object in a large bubble.
Goddamn video game fucking spells.
It's either that or I'm turning his ears into kumquats.
All right.
Which is literally a spell called Ears to Kumquats.
Oh, this is great.
I regret the day of giving you access to this particular spell list. You guys suck.
I do. All right. So, yeah. I'm going to just roll normal, right?
Go for it.
Hey.
So as he's pulling out what appears to be the journal, a bubble envelops him, and he's starting to kind of float.
No. Wait. Not him. The journal.
Oh, the journal.
Yeah, I ain't beat.
Okay. A bubble sort of peers around it and starts to kind of float up. What happens to this bubble?
I'm assuming, how high is the roof here?
Probably 20 feet.
Okay. I just wanted to hover on the roof, right? It just sits there. out of reach of anyone who is going to be engaged in combat, so they can't just like jump up, grab it, and run away.
All right. So with the bubble, the book begins to kind of float up. As Acer is doing this, what is Ezekiel and Marwilliam doing?
How many more of them are there?
There are 4 more behind him, and they have their wands at the ready, but aren't moving yet. Most of them appear to be paying attention, except for one who is kind of eyeing Randall, waiting for orders, essentially.
Yeah, I think Ezekiel pulls out his wand and points it towards it's a staircase, right, coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to cast a spell. He's going to cast Flipendo Tria, where it produces a tornado that goes up the stairs.
I thought you were trying to flip a tree.
Well, I mean, pretty on par.
Yeah.
So 2d6 on that one. 2d6.
So, what are you ultimately intending here?
Oh, it's a tornado. So knock them down, out.
You were yeah. Okay, all right, yeah, just 2d6 then.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if there were some other
No,
elements. Yeah.
I grabbed the wrong wand. I actually grabbed the Snitch's wand, and it didn't respond at all to me. It just and sparks came out.
Because you didn't actually disarm him,
Mm-hmm.
so you didn't actually win the thing. So
Yep.
sparks just kind of come out. One of the wizards behind him kind of looks at you and just kind of shakes his head and kind of does a flourish and takes the Snitch's wand from you. And kind of grabs it and begins to tuck it in. Marwilliam, what are you doing?
That's a sinister smile you just had, Jeff.
I know. Well, it's been such a good game, and I've been wondering what I could do that would really shock people. So
I'm looking forward to this.
I want to do the double wands thing again. Now
no.
Now that I won that second wand, and pointing over Randall's shoulders at 2 of the wizards. Avada Kedavra.
Oh!
Wow.
That took a turn.
Yo.
I figured, what could I do?
I take this back. I accept you now as a
Cruciatus, the other one. You just went you skipped the first 2 bad ones and went right to the worst one.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, to be fair, this does mean now that the ministry knows that we're here and we're in trouble. Right? Because they tracked that spell, if I remember correctly. Right?
I believe
know.
the ministry only tracks that spell inside of Great Britain. Only where their jurisdiction actually occurs.
But if the Makusa are tracking, then
That's correct.
I've just summoned the Makusa.
Yeah, that is correct. All right. I want you to roll this. I actually just kind of want to let the results of this happen, but I feel like there's still an element of chance. What do you guys think?
I think that to remove the element of chance, I'll empower it, like I did with the Stupefy.
Ooh.
Is that a thing?
Super deaf.
So we're killing his ancestry, is what we're doing right now.
Well, you're ensuring that the non-owned. I mean, he won the wand at a duel, but it's not still not. It didn't choose him. So any other wizard's wand doesn't work as well as yours. So you'd be ensuring that the other one does its job.
And I want to make it clear, I was not pointing at Randall. I was pointing at 2 of the goons, and I'm staring at Randall.
Okay.
I want Randall to see that I do this. I want Randall to understand what I'm doing. Actually, that's right. I have 3 wands technically right now. I am not.
What?
Well, because there was the wand in the grave, the wand in the coffin, and I have my wand, and I won a wand. I am not using the newest found wands. I am using the 2 that I know work.
I just imagine you with floating wands around you.
I know. Pew, 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 pew.
Mar Williams just became the John Wick of the wizarding world.
Well, to be fair, you can. So with what is it, Igilimens, you can cast spells without using your words, right? So you could just Leviosa mentally all of the wands together and then just.
I want to do that. I want to cast 3 Avada Kedavra.
Yeah. Occlumens is mental breaking, and Igilimens is wordless spellcasting, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct. Is that what Mar Williams going to do? If you're going to do that, then I'm definitely going to make you roll it.
I want to do a triple Avada Kedavra.
Oh my god! All right, you're definitely going to get your cunning. You're definitely going to get another bonus because of the ballsiness of this fucking move. But if you fail, be prepared.
Okay.
All right. Roll it.
How many dice?
4d6. That's 4d6.
Okay, now would not be a good time for 4 ones.
It would be a great time for 4 ones.
At least get a 4.
Hey! I'm on fire.
Probably quite literally at this point, actually.
I was trying to create some dramatic sort of, ending for this. But when Mar Williams does this, what does this look like? What is the Avada Kedavra? What happens?
Everyone.
Grab it.
Okay, it's literally pointing. So I got the newest found wand, let's say, in my left hand, and I've got my wand and the one wand in my right hand. And literally, while I'm staring at Randall, I just whisper Avada Kedavra. And I want these 3 bodies to just, there's the flash of green light, and they just drop.
That flourish goes out, catches them off guard, and the 3 that had their wands pointed in the direction, the one that wasn't, it's not, it's the 3 that were sort of looking at the group, or the group of 3 of you, they just collapse.
Mr. Randall, you are outnumbered and outgunned.
And he's just still looking at the journal as the other one is kind of looking at him. And he looks back towards Mar William and says, "That's unfortunate. Those were friends of mine. I want that wand."
Try and take it.
And he flourishes his wand, and the bodies of the 3 dead individuals begin to rise up.
Oh, geez.
With the quickness, I'm going to Scourgeo them and destroy them.
Do it.
All right.
All right. 2 of the 3 bodies go up immediately. Like they just go up in fluorescent flames. But the 3rd one, the one that's closest to you, just the flames are starting to sort of lick at his shoes as he's getting up. But he still reaches out and grabs you and starts to hold on to you, grappling you, kind of pulling you in as the flame sort of starts to crawl up him. And yeah, he just kind of grabs and holds on, and you're going to take 1 strain.
My bad.
So this is where the health mechanic comes in. We actually haven't had a significant event where the health mechanic comes in. You get 3 strain before you're out of the scene. So the flames are starting to crawl up this guy's body as the Scorchio is just kind of beginning to kind of consume him. But those flames are starting to tickle at your clothes as well. And you're taking a strain as the stress begins to hit you about what's going to happen.
Who's it grabbing?
This animated corpse is grabbing for Acer.
Okay. Zeke pulls out his wand. He pulls out his actual wand, points it at it, and says, "Inflatus!" And he's trying to make the thing inflate and float up.
Everything's going on the roof now. I like it.
Roll it.
2d6.
Sure. No, actually, it's that's it's not an obscure spell. Go ahead and just roll 2d6.
4. It starts to float, but it's taking Acer with him.
And that's exactly what's going on. It begins to to kind of balloon up, and it just kind of takes Acer with him, kind of locking him a little bit. And the flames are still sort of like, tickling up its body as the Scorchio is just beginning to consume it, as there are ashes beginning to fall along with the rest of you. And you see that Randall is just still staring at Marwilliam.
All right. I would like to point out that there is literally a spell called Cornflake Skin. Give a person cereal skin. I'm sorry.
What kind of cereal would you like to be?
Oh, I'm not doing that.
I feel like I can only do cornflakes.
You want some Cocoa Puffs? You want some Fruit Loops?
I'm not going to do that. That's childish.
You use Duckify.
No. Instead, I'm going to cast Defendo, and I'm going to split the seams of his pants so they fall around his ankles and trips.
On who?
The floor, hopefully. I mean, that would preferably.
Wait a minute. On who?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing it on the guy who's on fire right now. Like, I just want him to fall to the floor. Right?
He's floating
like
now.
Oh, he's floating?
I inflated him.
I thought he floated like the wand.
No, I inflated him.
I'm going to take some more time then. Somebody else go.
Job, save us.
Oh, jeez. I still have, hang on. 1, 2, 3. I have three wands pointing over Randall's shoulders, and I level them on Randall's chest.
And before you can even get them focused, you're going to need to roll me in a resistance roll, Expelliarmus, for all 3 wands.
Oh.
So you're going to roll 2d6. Your magic basically is your resistance.
Okay, 2d6. Okay.
And if you can offer me a reason why you can get out of this in a cunning fashion, I'll let you add the 3rd one. But yeah, he didn't even say anything. He did a flourish with his wand that is very obviously Expelliarmus.
Whatever this newest wand is, I'm almost positive it's powerful. And it worked for me on the Avada Kedavra.
So the new wand, just so you get from a story perspective, it feels the same as the journal.
Oh god, it's Grindelwald's wand. Oh shit. Okay. And if Avada Kedavra went off, then it has some loyalty to me.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead and roll. Go and roll with 3 dice.
3 dice. Oh god, come on. My rolls have been really good. Come on. Come on.
Son of a bitch.
Victory!
Can we have one of those, when the wands lock and they duel? And you get the 2 streams of arcane light. Can we do that?
Oh yeah, that's with brother wands. I forget what that's called.
All right. Your wand goes. Which of the 3 wands are you using specifically to counter this? When you resist this?
Grindelwald's.
Oh, okay. So you've got the 3 wands. As he begins to, with his flourish for Expelliarmus, Grindelwald's wand. As you take the action, you begin the counter to flourish, and as it does, it begins to glow and begins to get hot in your hand as the 2 wands connect, and the power begins to kind of flourish. Again, this sort of bloom. One of the things that you notice as the wand begins to glow is there is a little icon, a little glyph essentially on it. That is the Deathly Hallows, as it kind of glows on it, and then it sort of reshapes itself into a monogram that is 2 G's. And just for a second, the spark sort of poofs out of the whole thing, out of the connection, as both you and Randall are doing this, and Acer and Ezekiel, you are seeing this as well, but you're not really sure. You've never seen this sort of connection in magic before. You've only heard rumors about it. You've heard about it happening at the Battle of Hogwarts and at the fight in the graveyard when Voldemort first confronted Harry. That is a very famous sort of exchange between the 2 of them, of the 2 exchanges. And as this sort of comes out, you see the image of Grindelwald just sort of standing there in front of you. And he's looking between the two of you. And he smiles at Randall, but it's a sinister sort of a smile. And he looks over at you, Mar William, and he kind of nods his head, and it sort of poofs and flows back in, and the connection just continues, and this powerful blast of energy sort of just takes Randall and sort of knocks him back against the wall, and he drops. And his last sort of like follower just kind of looks at him and goes, and he just bolts up the stairs.
Now, Acer, you can split that guy's pants.
Because it has to. I was about to say, because it has to happen, I'm gonna duckify him.
All right. As he's making his way away, all of a sudden he just sort of falls into a poof of feathers, and you hear a quacking sound.
Yeah.
And you see he's trying to flap his wings, but he clearly doesn't know what he's doing because he's a human transformed into a duck. He has no idea how to fly.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stare at it and be like, the duck has happened.
So the journal begins to float back down to the ground in the bubble. The wand, after its spell just sort of sent Randall against the wall and caused him to collapse. The wand, the power just slowly coalesces back in. The glow happens. You see, Mar William, the two Gs reshape themselves into the Deathly Hollows, and then the glyph vanishes altogether as the wand stops glowing.
Oh my gosh.
And the wand feels more warm and attentive to you.
I pocket the wand and I look at the other two wands, including my old wand. I pocket them as well. But again, there's the same reverence I showed the journal. I show the newest wand.
So as you're reaching in, so this was actually something that none of you actually stated, so I'm going to assume it was actually Mar William. As you're reaching into your robes and you're kind of putting away this stuff, your wands. Yeah, there you go. You feel the journal in your pocket.
Interesting.
As the journal kind of float down.
Okay, I take out what I'm going to call the original, and I put my hand out for the duplicate.
And you basically cast, an unspoken, Accio, and it comes to you. And when it does, the two journals just sort of fuse.
Oh.
And inside, as you kind of realize that they just sort of fuse, you look at the blank pages where the spell was. There is a number of additional details, including the details of a spell to bring some vision or facsimile or creation of Grindelwald back. And the wand, the scroll, and the amulet are the three items of Grindelwald that you absolutely need in order to make this spell go off. And there is this ornate sort of detail in respect to this glyph that you need to actually, to create as your sort of casting focus. And there are these other, items that you need, herbs and special vessels, and you need the blood of a troll, and just all these other little things. And as you kind of you're reading through all of this, you realize that this is actually written at his time when he was imprisoned.
Okay.
After his downfall.
Looking at the time, I would very much like to metagame by proposing something.
Go for it.
I look at my two colleagues, then I nod, and then I disapparate.
This month.
Holy
you sassy
shit.
bitch.
So this exchange happens. The books fuse. Acer, you see, Ezekiel, you see this happen. As you see that Mar William is kind of looking at this, he looks up to the two of you. Do you give them any type of acknowledgement whatsoever before you apparate?
A nod of thanks.
And then he apparates.
Mudbloods.
Wow. All right. And so as you as this happens, you begin to hear that Randall is sort of stirring behind you. But his wand is clearly shattered from the force of the spell, and it's there sort of in pieces, and he's kind of coming to.
Not even looking, I'm just gonna aim my wand back and duckify.
Flush, he becomes a duck.
I'm gonna turn back to Ezekiel and say, I believe we have a problem now. Quack.
Yeah, we have several ducks and a missing wand and a missing book. And a missing Aurors.
And Quack. Yes, I'm not gonna get that. Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. Unless you can track him.
No.
Perhaps
we can call the Makusa.
Speaking of which, shouldn't they be here? I feel like the response time is very slow.
This is quite a mess.
So look at me. Well, this is a big trouble. If we are caught by them, there's going to be a lot of political drama. Should we just leave? Quack.
No, we should probably stay. This is becoming an international incident.
Quack.
Which we're in the middle of.
Yes, but it's easier to be in it than... I don't know. I made that up. It's probably easier if we work together.
Okay. Well, just so we're on the same page, Quack. Randall attacked us. We were in the middle of right. We'll just say that we lied to the other ones, but he just attacked those men, took the wand, and then fled, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Cool. Quack.
Quack. All right. As the two of you make this understanding and you realize that you're gonna be staying, that's when you start hearing Bombardo, and the door comes crashing in and comes sliding down as you see the Makusa agent that you saw in New Orleans just kind of walking down the stairs, followed by the other ones.
We're down here. Please help.
Grab the duck.
Don't let the ducks escape.
Quack. And as he kind of steps down, he says, "Where's the third one?"
We have a conversation.
Yes, I would suggest you arrest them, and then we have a talk.
And he looks down at the two
Ducks.
the two bodies and the two ducks, and he pulls out his wand and he says,
3 bodies. One was a corpse.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. They burned up. That's right. They burned up. That's right. They burned up. So he looks at the ashes and he looks at the quacking ducks, and he pulls out his wand.
Quack.
I'm gonna need you. He says, "I'm gonna need you to surrender your wands until we get this figured out."
Oh yeah, this time I'm more than happy to.
Yes. I'm going to hand it to him. Be gentle with that. It's a family heirloom.
And he tucks them in, and he kind of waves you up the stairs. And as the three of you, begin to walk up the stairs, other individuals sort of move down to start to investigate, and you see that they're casting some spells for investigation. And as we kind of close, we focus back in on the coffin that's sort of there on the ground, and there is an outline of an amulet, in the actual coffin itself, in the sort of the velvet, that where the body was laid, where the wand was actually laid, and that's where we sort of fade out.
Nice.
And then in the distance, you hear quack.
That was dope. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was pretty good shit.
Oh man.
Best fucking twist ever, Joff.
Yeah, fuck
this
you,
is
Joff.
why I like gaming with you. Holy shit.
Joff, you're a jerk. We're the same team,
Yeah.
Josh.
I'm back, baby.
Quack.
All right, so let's go around, do our introduction, get your thoughts on this one shot, the system that Johnny kind of made up, right? And let's get the hell out of here. Go on to our next game. We'll start with Johnny. Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of this one shot?
I'm Johnny, and Video Store Cowboy, a tabletop streamer with a side of variety. This was a crazy idea that I had. You guys, thank you for indulging me and doing this crazy idea. I think it makes me want to actually go out and actually write a full-blown Blades in the Dark hack for the Wizarding World. The ideas just seem to flourish really well. You guys were fucking amazing. I first time I've gamed with you, Rob. Had a really good time. Would love to game with you again. As always, Mike, love it. The shit that you guys brought together was fucking phenomenal. However, Joff, fucking award for awesome twist.
Yeah,
was not expecting you to do the killing curse, and then was not expecting you to just fucking disappear.
It just came to me in that last moment that I'm like, you know what? I've been doing this entire time. I've been building up to being Grindelwald's biggest supporter.
You're a jerk.
It just and especially when you had the spirit of Grindelwald giving me that wink, that nod, it just made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of your plot twist, Joff, who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of today's one shot?
I'm Joff, otherwise known as Owlbear over on Twitter. That is Owlbear, bear as in, not as in. Yeah, this was an amazing hack, Johnny. This is a lot of fun, and I've been wanting to do some kind of Wizarding World game one shot for the longest time, and I'm so happy I had to do it. Now all you have to do, Johnny, is a Tron hack.
Absolutely. We talked about that almost 2 years ago. I will definitely do that. We will make that shit happen. That world is one of my favorites, so absolutely.
But this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for having me be part of it.
Hell yeah.
I'm so glad I could play, and I'm so glad that I could be part of the charity stream.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Of course.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Rob, the new face here. Rob, who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of this one shot?
Yeah, I'm Bob. This was awesome, and the M. Night Shyamalan award definitely goes to Joss.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me in chat as Goodnight, or I recently just started a channel, maybe about 2 months ago, something like that, where I DM a game for a group of my friends. You'll see them later today when we run a version that this was based off of. We're going to be running Dungeon World. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time. I suggest that when you write the full version of this game, you might want to limit the spells, but definitely keep the spell.
So, I think we should have a conversation about that. I kind of enjoyed the sort of randomness of the cornflake spell. Does sound intriguing.
Yeah, I definitely want to see cornflakes.
Definitely cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is it for our second game? Yeah, two games. That's it for our second game of the stream. We have 2 more to go. I'm already loopy. We have 6 more hours of tabletop. Up next is Kiana running Lasers and Feelings, which should be just straight up shenanigans. We blew past our first goal. We're $75 away from our second goal, so we have 6 hours to at least hit that $75. Let's see if we can do that. But for now, we'll be right back, guys. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.
Quack.